times about the golf because she sure does love it, and she seems to be pretty good at it. Wow. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed to this channel. YouTube is still doing its antics. Check out blackwhitenetwork.com for exclusive live streams and merch. Let's do this. Caitlin Clark takeover is officially underway for the 2026 season. I did a video yesterday. The MVP odds are out.
Caitlin Clark has been making the rounds again, and this time it has nothing to do with a basketball in her hands. Clark showed up to the Indiana Pacers game against the Los Angeles Lakers on Wednesday night not as a spectator but as a credentialed photographer. Wearing a Pacers photographer's vest and stationed along the baseline, she was given a folding chair featuring her personal logo before tip-off. The moment went massively viral almost immediately. The AP covered the story, and the photos Clark captured are drawing serious attention on their own merit.
Odds are out. I mean, she's got 18,000 fans, tickets being purchased up to $700 a piece in Toronto. Now we've got this. There she is with a camera in her hand. There she is. And this was pregame last night. And this article's from the AP. We'll get to the pictures in a minute.
LeBron James and Luka Doncic were both on the floor that night, and Clark was positioned right at court level with full access to the action. She posted on social media shortly after, hinting that strong content was on the way. The Pacers organization then released a dedicated digital feature, Behind the Lens, Caitlin Clark, showcasing her shots from the evening. The photographs themselves genuinely impressed people across social media. Close-up frames of LeBron James in motion, baseline angles, and court-level perspectives that most fans never get to see. The quality of the work drew praise from commenters, the WNBA's official account, and media figures alike.
And this article's from the AP. We'll get to the pictures in a minute because they're good. They're really good. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark was taking a different kind of shot while the Pacers hosted LeBron James and Luka Doncic, the Los Angeles Lakers, on Wednesday night. Clark, donning a photographer's vest, was credentialed by the Pacers as a photographer to snap pictures along the baseline. She was presented with a folding chair with her personal logo before the game. Quote, got some good.
The WNBA called the photos outstanding, while fans flooded the comments with reactions calling the images elite and cinematic. Several people pointed out that it is increasingly difficult to name something Clark is not capable of doing at a high level. This appearance is part of what has been a very visible stretch for Clark heading into her third WNBA season. MVP odds for the 2026 season are already circulating. Ticket demand around the league has spiked significantly, with prices in Toronto reportedly reaching up to $700, and her appearance on NBC's NBA pregame coverage recently drew a massive audience, with many viewers tuning in specifically for her segment. The Pacers hosting the Lakers also brought LeBron James into the conversation, with questions circling about whether James might pursue a final chapter with the Cleveland Cavaliers before retiring.
Quote, got some good stuff coming, Clark posted on social media. By the way, she's also made some comments about her doing this. Clark is entering her third season with the Fever after missing most of last year, blah, blah, blah. We know she won the MVP for Team USA at the FIBA World Cup qualifier. So let's go. Here we go right here. This photo of Caitlin Clark watching LeBron. So this was actually taken by Andy Lyons.
That storyline played out in the background of an evening that was largely defined, at least online, by the sight of Clark crouched on the baseline, capturing it all through a lens. Clark enters 2026 coming off a season largely lost to injury, but her momentum heading into the new year has not slowed. If anything, the off-season period has only expanded her presence beyond the court. The photographer appearance is one more example of how her reach extends well past the boundaries of women's basketball. The Indiana Fever's approach to free agency this offseason carries a specific kind of risk that goes beyond the usual questions of salary fit and positional need.
Clark watching LeBron. So this was actually taken by Andy Lyons of Getty Images, but it gives you an idea. She was right next courtside, right there. There's, of course, LeBron James. LeBron to James. LaChina James, as we used to call him on the big sports channel. So right here, this was Caitlin Clark saying, I've got some good stuff coming. There she is taking a picture. It looks like wearing a actual Pacers vest is what I.
The De'Erica Hamby situation from last year offers a cautionary blueprint for exactly what the organization needs to avoid repeating. Hamby came into Indiana as a legitimate star-level acquisition. She had made the All-Star roster in 2024, performed well in the playoffs, and started for one of the better teams in the league. Phoenix could only offer her a minimum contract. Indiana had the flexibility to offer the maximum.
Pacers vest is what I'm seeing here. And right here, Pacers put this out. Take a look at her flicks from tonight. There she is right there. Pacers Digital. Behind the lens, Caitlin Clark. Oh, were these some of the snaps maybe?
She took it. The early signs were encouraging. She was engaged. She was visible. She was the face of the team's free agency class. Preseason showed some rough edges, but nothing alarming. Her debut at a sold-out Gainbridge Fieldhouse needed just 7 points to move her into third place all-time in WNBA scoring. She got those points, played in front of 15,000 people, won by 30, and by all appearances left that night feeling like the move had been the right one.
Wow. Okay. Holy shit. Good job, Caitlin Clark. And then this, the king shot by me. Caitlin, Jordan's still the GOAT. I'm just putting that out there. But nonetheless, these look like great photos. I took a look at them. Wow. That's pretty good. Yep. There's LeBron.
Then the noise started. A fabricated controversy involving a specific incident that was later proven never to have occurred traced back to someone who was not even at the game spread across social media and became a week-long story. The league and the Players Association treated it as credible before any investigation had concluded. Her own partner publicly implied the incident had happened. Within days, the atmosphere had completely shifted.
That's pretty good, yep. There's LeBron. There's Braun. And there he is. Was Bronny not at this game? Where are Bronny's pictures at? Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah. Well, she's good. She's pretty good at this. So here we go. As you can imagine, there's the WNBA actually making an official comment on this, calling this fire. Awesome photos. Yeah.
She stopped playing, citing personal reasons. When she missed that first game, there were already reports circulating that she had requested a trade and would not suit up for the Fever again. Caitlin Clark returned to the lineup, and Hamby never played another minute. The timing told its own story. The broader point is not about the specifics of that situation.
People thought that the fit with the Indiana Fever was the best fit. A lot of people thought there was always a chance of DeWanna Bonner going to the Fever. But it seemed like it was, okay, she's going to the Mercury, but people are like, oh, maybe the Fever would have been the right decision, which is what a lot of people thought initially. However, the difference is the Phoenix Mercury could only offer her a minimum contract, whereas the Fever could offer her a maximum. So she took the max and went to Indiana. And at the start, things went great. She wanted to be there.
It is about what the Indiana Fever environment demands from the people who choose to be part of it. Sedona Prince addressed this directly. When she decided to sign with Indiana, she acknowledged openly that people within league circles, not just anonymous accounts online, turned against her for making that choice. The team's identity has been built, partly by design and partly by circumstance, around an US against everyone mentality. That framing works exceptionally well when everyone is locked in. It falls apart the moment someone inside the group starts absorbing the external pressure.
At the start, things went great. She wanted to be there. She was happy. She was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. She was their marquee free agent signing. And in preseason, she didn't look great, but she didn't look awful. She looked okay. And she needed 7 points in her debut. to go third all-time in scoring. And in a packed Cambridge Fieldhouse, she scored those points. 15,000 people cheering for her. And at the end of the game,
younger players appear largely immune to this dynamic. Anyone under 24 who has come up through high-level college basketball has already been through years of intense public scrutiny and social media chaos. They have filters built in. The problem is almost exclusively with veteran players who arrive with existing relationships, existing loyalties, and existing social media presences tied closely to people or communities that run counter to the Fever's interests. That is the actual risk factor, not age or talent level.
And at the end of the game, was delighted that that the fans were cheering for her. I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, I'm pretty sure she said they were the best fans in the world. She had 15,000 people cheering for her in a game that they won by 30 points. And then she went home to being called slurs on Twitter by Angel Reese fans, being a BS accusation of...
On paper, the Hamby signing made complete sense. She was versatile, she could shoot threes, she defended multiple positions, she had playoff experience, and she filled a genuine roster need. If this were a pure roster construction exercise with no human variables, it was the right call. But professional sports, and the Fever specifically right now, do not operate in that kind of vacuum. The environment around this team is unlike anything else in the WNBA, and probably unlike most things in professional basketball at any level.
Of a specific animal noise being made at Angel Reese that never happened. Apparently, Dave Portnoy made that noise towards Angel Reese, which then became the thing. Because people very evidently heard him say "ball don't lie" when she missed a free throw. And then that overshadowed her record. Nobody spoke about the fact that her record was... or what she had done. No one spoke about
the fan base is massive, opinionated, and extremely online. When things go well, that energy is electric and virtually unmatched. When things go poorly, even temporarily, the volume turns immediately. A bad stretch, a poor shooting night, a slow start to the season. All of it lands with more force when the team carries this level of attention. Aaliyah Boston dealt with a version of this too.
Or what she had done. No one spoke about the game because people on Twitter started a nonsense investigation. Then 12 hours later, the WNBA said they were investigating this issue. The WNBPA spoke about it like it was fact, that those same fans that were cheering her, she called the best fans in the world, were in fact racist. And then her partner came out and said that she believed that they were racist, and they did do what never happened, and the person who made the accusation was proven to never have been at the game. And her partner came out and said that it did happen.
Not identical circumstances, but the surrounding noise clearly affected her, and it showed in her performance. The pattern is consistent enough that it cannot be dismissed as coincidence. The standard the Fever need to apply in free agency is therefore not limited to basketball. Talent and fit remain the foundation. But layered on top of that is a genuinely important secondary question. Can this player handle the specific environment that comes with wearing this uniform?
Or imply that it did happen. And from then on, she was done. She was checked out. From that moment on, it was over. And what does that mean? If you are going to be a member of the Indiana Fever, you, under no circumstances, can let the WNBA narratives affect you. And by the way, Sid Colson said it as much. When she chose to go to Indiana, basically, she very much implied...
Will outside commentary, social pressure, or personal connections to people who actively push narratives against the team eventually reach them? If the honest answer is yes, or even possibly yes, then the signing becomes a liability regardless of how good the player is. That is not an easy filter to apply. It requires the front office to know things about a player's character and psychological makeup that do not show up in a stat line.
Sid Colson said it as much. When she chose to go to Indiana, basically, she very much implied that people turned on her. As in, people in WNBA circles, not just random people on Twitter. Like, people around the league that were involved in the league turned on her for joining Indiana. It was very clear that this Indiana Fever team, the reason why they were so good was because it was an us versus the world mentality. They know everyone hates them. And DeWanna Bonner, by the looks of things, she couldn't deal with that. That's what it seemed like. From the outside looking in, it seemed like she could not deal with that.
It also requires honesty about the fact that an inferior player who is fully committed to the group will outperform a more talented player who is not. The Fever have already seen that play out. Stephanie White has done a notable job of reinforcing the collective first culture within the locker room, and that is not nothing. It creates real value, particularly when the roster faces injuries and depth gets tested. The risk heading into free agency is signing a veteran who looks ideal on film, offers the position and skill set needed, but carries connections or sensitivities that make the external noise eventually inescapable.
Not deal with that. And it didn't help that the on-the-court stuff wasn't going well either. That didn't help. Rumor is, and by the way, like, I had been hearing this, and this is the weirdest thing about WNBA circles, is that, like, again, with the Iowa State, the whole team transferring out, like, that got leaked on Reddit. Like, the day the season ended, that got leaked on Reddit. So many of these things. DeWanna Bonner, when she had missed her
It happened once. The circumstances that created it have not gone away. If anything, the spotlight on this team is larger now than it was a year ago, which means the pressure on any incoming player is proportionally greater. The front office needs to weigh that carefully before committing money and roster spots to players who may not be built for what this particular environment asks of them.